What's up, YouTube? I know you don't know me. I normally do like police accountability slash brutality stuff, but that's not everything that I am. Yeah, I'm black, so I have to deal with that type of stuff, but I'm an electrician. So I'm just going to tell you one of my stories I just got finished dealing with, and we can go from there. I have a client who owns a food manufacturing business. They do a lot of baking and things like that. They just bought a mixer. The mixer is from this manufacturer who, in a email statement, told her that the power requirements for her mixer is 208 slash 220 voltage, three phase, and 22 amps. Now, there's no such thing as that. First of all, three phase starts at 30 amps. You could do 208 and 30 at three phase. You could do you could do 240, I think, or 250 at 30 at three phase, but not 22 amps. So I figure, hey, strike one, no big deal. You never know. So I went over to the side and looked at the spec sheet that you're supposed to have on every single piece of electronic equipment made in America. In this situation, her specs were correct about the 208 slash 220, except, again, you can't do 220 and get three phase. And it said three phase on there, but it's not three phase. It said it needed 9.55 kilowatts at 208 voltage or 220 voltage. When you do Ohm's law for that, the 208 becomes 45 amps and the 220 becomes like 43.18, I believe. So the information that the manufacturer said about 22 amps, completely wrong. When I first got there, I actually I gave her a 30 amp receptacle because she said she had a 30 amp. I'm stupid. I gave her a 30 amp plug because she said she had a 30 amp receptacle. It's a three phase 30 amp receptacle, but it does her no good because it doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work is because the machine is not three phase, it's single phase. When I look at the cord for the machine, they want me to make the plug. When I look at the cord, it's all number 8 THHN, black, red, green, white. Number 8 goes up to 55 amps, according to the NEC 2020 book. Black, red are the two hots. Green is the ground, of course. White is the neutral, of course. So my options for the requirements, which is 45 amps or 43 amps, means I have to go a little bit higher to make sure it never has an issue with overheating or going past the amount that is needed for the breaker or the outlets. So I gave a 50 amp. I gave a two pole 50 amp. I believe it was a color hammer type BA breaker for their system. And I had to go inside and change around the way that the receptacle was because thank God the receptacle had 8 gauge wire in it. So all I had to do is make one of the hots into a neutral, which they were using already with the ground, really weird. And that left me with two hots, which I marked with a face tape, and I made the neutral its own thing. The ground was already connected in the panel, so only thing I had to change around was 3 different wires. But bottom line, this lady paid at least $10,000 for this mixer, for the manufacturer to give her the wrong information from jump. They wrote it in a email stating that it was 208 slash 220 voltage and only 22 amps. Not true. They then had it in the manual, the same thing. Not true. The only way it would be true is if they had messed up on the cord connecting to the motor with the wrong wires and the wrong gauge of wires. Because again, 22 amps means you can use 12 gauge. You can actually use 14 gauge, but you shouldn't because it goes over the 20 amps. So you want to make sure you're safe. So you use the 12 gauge, which does 30 amps now, according to the NEC. So the manufacturer has screwed up so many different directions. I don't think the person that was contacting my client had any knowledge whatsoever of anything electrical, because the screw ups were astronomical. Figure out that, you know, hey, hopefully you guys like this stuff. You know, I can show you some of the stuff that I worked with. This is the original plug that they gave. This is a, what is this? A NEMA, it's a locking NEMA too. I think it's a 1430. Yep, NEMA 1430. So this one does 30 amps, 125 to 250 volts, and it is grounded. There's the ground right there. It goes in. This was the wrong one. This is the one that they had already as far as the receptacle is concerned, but the wrong one as far as the requirements for that machine. Even though the manufacturer said that it took 22 amps, and this would have been the correct thing for them if that was actual and accurate, but it was not. So instead, I had to spend over $200 on getting the right stuff. Take care. Till next time. Peace.